For this video, we gathered some of the students and members of staff that came to the workshop organized in Newcastle about fuzzy cognitive mapping and then joined the workshop organized by the PECUS project in Valencia.
Hello.
Hello.
And what is fuzzy cognitive mapping?
Fuzzy cognitive mapping is a methodology that enables the semi-quantitative assessment of the relationship between different elements in complex systems, and it can be used to investigate how the variability of specific elements in the system influences the transformation of other elements in the same system, since all the elements are linked together. It's a methodology that can be implemented using specific software, and it's meant to be very interactive and participatory.
Fuzzy cognitive mapping is a modeling environment in which you're able to measure a qualitative sense of affordances in a given situation by mapping out what factors are at stake in that situation and then perturbing the model. As you move parts of the model, you get feedback on what those changes would provoke in other parts of the model.
Fuzzy cognitive mapping, from my point of view, is a modeling instrument used to collect diverse stakeholders' opinions about a particular scenario and build relationships between the indicators, and then foreseeing the future of the relationships.
I think that the first strength is that it allows people from different disciplines to contribute to the model. For instance, I am from the business school, so I am more familiar with the economics, maybe the environment and some elements, but I'm not maybe familiar with the architecture or city planning, but other people in this group may be more familiar with this, and we can contribute to this together. Another thing is that I think it's a bit difficult from time to time to get a quantitative relationship between elements, but the fuzzy cognitive mapping can still provide as a tool to analyze the relationship with fuzzy logic.
I think fuzzy cognitive mapping is a really good tool to gather different people's opinion about a particular like a subject, and through this way we can see how different people think, and we can intervene them in decision making projects, and how they can deal with a single managing project.
I think one thing that I liked about this tool is that it would embrace a lot of different ideas from different people of different disciplines, and they would, during the conversation, we can sparkle new ideas within and learn from each other.
To me, the main weaknesses of fuzzy cognitive mapping are that it lacks feedback in the model. It also lacks a sense of temporality. So it would be interesting, a lot of the situations that we're modeling, thinking about are ecological in nature. There's many interactive factors, sometimes happening simultaneously, but at their own rates. It might be nice to imagine a version of fuzzy cognitive mapping where you could step forward in time rather than simply perturbing one set of factors and having the change echoed over here. It could be interesting to see how that, to be able to create circular situations or situations with feedback over time, to see how, in the big picture, the ecology of the whole situation might change or might balance given X number of time steps.
I think the main weakness is that if there are too many elements, sometimes it might be in a mess. It might be not that clear, and it's really time consuming Also, if that people make a slight mistake, it's very difficult to check that.
I think the weaknesses that I'm thinking about is the number that you assigned, which sometimes might be quite arbitrary between the two factors. So that might cause some problems. Yeah.
I think the most important part of the fuzzy cognitive mapping is that it looks through the cognition of people through to a landscape, and in landscape as a concept is a thing that considers the cognition, the perception of people who are dealing with that. So it is, I think, really good methodology and instrument to see how different people may perceive, may understand a landscape, and how they can relate different indicators and features within a landscape together, and what would be the outcome of that.
I think fuzzy cognitive mapping, since it would ask ideas from people from different disciplines, so it would give a conceptual framework of how the landscape, the relationship between the landscape and other factors in this specific area, or more in a more general sense in other other landscape situations. Yeah.
Fuzzy cognitive mapping is particularly useful for landscape analysis because landscapes are complex systems and where different elements interact and influence each other. So fuzzy cognitive mapping, being designed to investigate and simulate complex systems, is an ideal tool to analyze how landscapes change over time and what drivers, what type of forces influence these transformations. Fuzzy cognitive mapping in particular can give us the opportunity to predict transformations and monitor how or whether these transformations occur or not in the real world. So it's basically a predictive tool as well, potentially. Thank you very much.
You're
That's
welcome.
brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Is that okay? Do you remember to push record?
Okay,
That's
thank
brilliant.
you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Do I look so nervous?
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Okay, okay.
No, you look super cool.
Yes, it's...